Oh my goodness, you guys, this is not good. You've got to see this. These are my tomato starts. They are not looking good. Let's see if we can fix this. About 4 weeks ago, I started my tomatoes the same way that I have started them for years, and they're not doing well. Not only are they not growing very much, but they don't look very healthy. Look at this, we're actually growing some like moss, some mildew here. Maybe there's little specks of some fungus on it, and they just look super stunted. I am not happy about this. At the same time that I started those starts, I started some for the main crop garden for Josh, and I used his method of starting tomatoes, which is in a little bit bigger pot. Now, both of these methods have worked for us over the years, and you can see his are doing much better. They're in larger pots, but aside from that, the soil is the same. Everything's the same. I'm gonna work through this problem and see if we can fix this and get my tomatoes growing again. These are the tomatoes that need to go out into the cottage garden, the kitchen garden for fresh eating. You know, I feel really frustrated about this because I've grown gardens, I've grown tomatoes in gardens for years, and you would just think that by now I shouldn't be having this sort of problem. I've actually never had this happen before, so it's really frustrating. It makes me feel really inept, actually. This just shouldn't be happening. And you know, we actually eat off of our garden most of the year with so many people in our household. It's just way too expensive to buy quality of food that we would like to eat. Pots. Okay, I want to size up to this larger size pot and see if it will help. Whenever we're dealing with issues with plants in the garden, we have to always go back to the basics. So there is a way that we can work through solving this. One, we deal with light. The next, we deal with soil. Then we think about water. And then we think about possible disease or pests or things like that. As far as the light goes, you know, I know that the light is great. Those are great LED grow lights. They work really, really well. The soil is actually what I think I'm having a problem with. There's the obvious issue that Josh's pots are bigger, and so the plants have more nutrients to pull from. And so that could be part of it. But here's what I'm thinking has really happened. I always use our good homegrown, homemade compost to start the plants. We mix that in with a little bit of topsoil from the garden and call it good. And that has worked really well over the years. But this year, when I went to start my plants, because I was so on top of it, I was ahead of the curve on the weather. The compost was still frozen. It was the tarp that was laying over it was completely frozen, and I couldn't even get into it. So I went to the store and I bought a good quality potting mix or seed starting mix. But you know what? Those are always sterile. I don't like using sterile mixes because we want our plants to be in a healthy soil that is filled with bacteria and fungus and all the things that are going to be in the soils that they grow in. And it's kind of like your gut. Like when you have the right bacteria in your system, it helps protect from any of the bad stuff that might come in. The exact same thing is true with the soil. So if you have a really healthy, probiotic, rich, very alive soil, it's gonna help keep things like bad invaders at bay. But what did I do? I went and I got sterile potting soil. which means whatever there is in the environment can take it over. And then to make things worse, because I'm used to using that good compost, I don't usually have to sterilize my pots, even though I've used them before. And I didn't think about it, and I didn't sterilize them. So then essentially I just took who knows what was still on those pots for last year, and I stuck sterilized potting soil into it, and then I put the seeds in there, and that just allowed any bad disease organisms that was sitting in there to go ahead and to proliferate, because there was nothing to keep them in check. So I really think it was the soil. I'm gonna go and we're gonna change out the soil. We're gonna pot up these plants into more soil with lots of really good compost that's very bioactive. So, hey, look, you can see next year's. This is the beginning of the next compost. Just came out of the barn. Look, there's even some fresh food scraps in there. Did I tell you guys we get to put a patio into the cottage garden so that our table will actually sit flat and we can enjoy sitting out here? What I have here is a wheelbarrow full of this beautiful compost. Now this is the compost that we did here on the property. Josh makes this. You guys just saw that pile. So this is what that's going to turn into. Beautiful compost. Now I already have that potting soil in the pots, so I don't feel like I need to add any more of that in there. A lot of times we'd mix in some topsoil just so it's got some more of the soil and not just all compost. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with just the compost this time. Every time you look at the window, it's doing something different. Sometimes it's hailing, and sometimes it's raining, and sometimes it's snowing, and sometimes it's sunny, and sometimes it's like this and just cold and windy. So I needed to come in for a break for a cup of coffee by the warm wood cook stove. And oh, you know, there's just something that makes me feel so happy to be inside, warm and cozy, watching it be all blustery outside. I guess I should get back to work.
I got a cut right here.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, can I get a bandage on it?
Okay, sure. It doesn't look like that big of a cut. Can I just kiss it and make it better?
Or could I just rub a little of salve on it and not put a bandage on it?
Don't kiss it and make it better.
Oh, I need more. Can I just put a bandage on it?
Just a little salve will be fine. Hey, Johnny, I ran out of these little pots. I need about 11 more. Could you run up to the potting shed and go get those for me,
Yes,
please?
ma'am, Mama.
Thank you. Do you know where they are?
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, thank you very much.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
would you run out to the wheelbarrow out there and just fill each of these halfway full?
Sure.
Thanks. I have these filled about halfway. I'm gonna go ahead and pop out each little tray. Look at that. That has not even developed roots very much yet. Okay, I am really glad we're doing this. Maybe we will save these guys. These are the Rosella tomatoes. They're nice little cherry tomatoes that are kind of in the brown cherry family, and oh, their flavor is amazing. And the chestnut chocolate tomatoes. Ooh, these are another really good ones. I really like the chocolate flavor profile in my tomatoes. They're just so rich and meaty. Now these roots are doing a little better. The Siberian blacks, ooh, look at those. Those have nice roots already hanging off of them. Looking good. For each of these, I am starting with the little plants themselves, and I'm just cleaning up around them. If there's any extra little seedlings in there, I'm pulling those out. And then I'm pulling off any leaves that need to be trimmed off just to clean it up and make sure nothing is sucking energy from this plant that doesn't need to be here. And then I've got my little pots only about a third of the way filled with soil, and I am carefully pinching the bottoms and getting out as many of the roots as I possibly can. and snuggling them right on in. It's okay to break up that soil a little bit. Those roots are actually pretty hardy as long as they're all there. Now I'm going to top these guys with a little bit of that good compost. Just right over the top. Make sure I press down on all the edges so that there aren't any air pockets in there. And onto the Oregon spring tomato. This is another one that's supposed to be really good for short, cold season growing, which is definitely us. I don't have enough spaces left for all of the tomatoes, which is great because I'm actually gonna keep a few in the last two just in this setup and just use them as my control group so that I can see how these do now that they are repotted versus how these do. Rebecca, would you water some plants for Mama? See right there? Can you put all the water in that hole right there? That's okay. Thank you. You're doing a good job. Do plants need water?
Yeah.
What do they do with it?
They grow.
They grow?
Mm-hmm.
What else do the plants need?
Potatoes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. They need potatoes?
Yeah.
What do they do with the potatoes?
Grow.
They grow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of plants these are?
I don't know.
You don't know?
This one and this one are growing, and those ones.
They're growing?
Mm-hmm. Because the water.
Because of the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're gonna get big and strong and healthy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have carrots.
They're gonna have carrots?
Yeah.
Do you think those are carrots?
These some of water and these.
These need water. No, I think those have lots of water right now.
Or maybe this one.
The moringa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can give that some water. All right, you guys, it looks like we are back in business. The tomatoes are all repotted. They're all settled back in under their grow lights, and hopefully in just a day or two, I'm gonna start seeing a lot more growth, and it is going to spring right up and give us all the tomatoes that we need this summer. You guys have to see this. This is 9 days after I repotted my plants, and I'm so excited to show this to you because it is amazing. You guys, we are back in the tomato business. Do you remember what these things look like? Just in case you don't, check out right here this control group that I have that, look how sickly, look how sad they look. But remember, they were just like these guys, and now these guys are doing so incredibly well. Oh, I am so thankful that this summer we get to eat some BLTs. If you guys are ready to start a garden this year, but you don't know where you're gonna put your plants, check out this video right here where Josh takes you through all the steps to start an instant garden really quickly and really easily. We'll see you there.